Today. This is a big topic, especially after the last couple of years. Sentiments around social media platforms, whether it be in our space, in the wellness space, or just in general, period. If you're a human on this planet, you may be a little exhausted with social media platforms and maybe kind of wondering how you can get out of using them, or at least reframe how you use them so that it is a more beneficial activity, not just for your business, but for your being. So we're going to get into that today. We also have two website reviews that we'll be going over as well. So go ahead and let us know where you're coming in from in the comments. We're excited to have you here. We got a great turnout here right at the very top of the call. I know there's going to be a lot more people jumping in as we continue. So go ahead and just say hello. Let us know where you are in the world. We're always excited to see you. So I've got slides to go through today, and I am very, very interested in your responses as we're actually going through them. I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear from you if you're here live. So definitely make sure you've turned off your distractions, shut down your social media browsers, and let's really focus in on what we're going to be talking about here today, because I think that especially if you have found yourself in a place of struggle or challenge around utilizing social media for your business, you're gonna find some insights here today that you might not have considered before, and they're definitely worth considering if you're a Young Living brand partner who has goals to rank up, grow your organizational volume, and ultimately build a business that you can build on your own terms, that you can grow and run your way without being tethered to a particular way of doing things. And isn't that why we decided to get into business for ourselves? All right, so we've got Oklahoma City, Hartford, Connecticut, Kansas City, Alberta. Hey y'all, Alabama, what's up? Philly suburbs, Ohio, New Jersey, Buffalo. Excited to see you guys here today. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pop out of video so that we can get into these slides and you can.
I think you got muted there, Ashley. I can't hear you anymore.
Oh, perfect.
There we go.
Thank you. All right, so before we get into this as well, I do want to let you guys know that we are going to be sharing an exciting announcement with you here today. We have two website reviews scheduled, so definitely a lot to cover on this call. So let's go ahead and get into the training. Whether or not it is possible to grow Young Living without social media, and depending on what the answer is to that question, what do we do about it, right? Okay, so what we're going to get into today is whether you need social media to grow Young Living, the solvable problems. We know that there are a lot of problems that we as individuals, whether stakeholders or not, really can't do about the social platforms, but there are problems that we can solve. We're going to talk about how to get what you want out of social media platforms without the headache, and a simple blueprint for you to run your business on social, should you choose, like the professionals do. And I mean the professionals who don't live on social media. All right. And then of course, we will get into live help and Q&A and those website reviews. So if you have questions, if you need help, if you came here looking for support with anything that you're working on, regardless of whether it pertains to today's topic, please add that to the Q&A so that we can be helping you throughout the call. And if you are watching this in the future on YouTube, we do host these live every single Thursday at noon Eastern time with new training every week for anyone in Team YL. You can go to GetOiling.com/weekly work session to tune in, sign up, and join us on a future live call and get all of our recordings and sometimes all of the cool gifts and things that come with them. All right, so if you want one-on-one help on a live call, like there will be happening today, go to GetOiling.com/website review. And you can sign up for dedicated space on a future call like this one. All right, now I want to hear from you guys. Do you use social media for your Young Living business? Let me hear a yes, let me hear a no. Raise your hand. Do you use it? Got a pretty unanimous yes. An acknowledgement here that you've mostly grown in person. I think most people who have been with Young Living for any period of time would probably share the same sentiment, that you maybe get some people interested in what you're doing on social media, but sometimes it's really helpful to just put the oils in hands, but that's not the only way to do things. All right, so we've got attempting to use it, got some folks saying no, some I don't have social media skills, I can get onto Facebook and had a Young Living Facebook page but got blocked. Awesome. It's been good for education for Amanda. Awesome. All right. So we got a lot of people that use it. And as some of us are starting to share how we do. So if you haven't yet, please go ahead and put that in the chat. How do you use social media for your Young Living business? You get information. You don't use it to promote Young Living. That's important. Okay. There's definitely a handful of really great Facebook groups for Team YL or for your individual teams where you can get information. So you as a social media user, right? Let's see, we've got connection, getting event information out, mostly stories, building relationship and trust. Angie, great. Education, posting, reposting on Facebook. Awesome. All right. What do you like about it for those of us who are here? Is there anything that you particularly like about social media? Something that, you know, if we were to speak of these platforms in gratitude, what would be the thing that you would acknowledge it for? Global outreach, wider audience. Yes, it's quick. You can reach a wider range of people, keeping up with others. Awesome. Okay, on to the next one. What do you find most challenging about it? What do you maybe not like so much about using social platforms? Fighting with the algorithm, getting seen. Algorithm keeps changing. It's a time black hole. Yes, scrolling. Oh, obviously the social environment there in some cases. Linda, how to reach the right people, the time black hole again, distraction. All right, now we're kind of blowing up here, right? There's a lot that's not so awesome about it, right? It can be a challenging thing to interact with. So if you're here today and the thought of spending more of your time logging in and scrolling and posting, if that stuff exhausts you, just the thought of like, oh, I got to do this. I feel like I have to, but like, I don't know if it's helping me, but I feel like I should keep doing it. If that's you, keep watching. I think you're really going to like what we have to talk about here today. And I think you're going to start to see a clearer picture of how you can choose to interact, should you choose to go that route, okay? Now, if you are someone who's here today that is actually like on the flip side of this, you're not exhausted about the idea of going into social maybe necessarily because you want to be a social seller. Maybe, you know, you're working on that Instagram follower account and, you know, trying to be an influencer and that kind of thing. There's something for you in here too, right? What we're talking about here today is really how you can reposition yourself. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let's address the question that brought us here today. Is it possible to grow Young Living without any presence at all on social media networks? Technically, the answer is yes, but like significant asterisk here. It's not something that is advisable. Now, you can go belly to belly. You can, it's also, I think importantly, that the answer to how this question plays out is going to depend on your goals as well. If you've got big goals with Young Living, if you're trying to rank up and, you know, if you're trying to get up to high level leadership ranks and you're not trying to wait a very long time to do it, you want more momentum behind what you're doing, the answer to this is this, right? Yes, technically, but it's not advisable. If you're super okay with just supporting your people as you currently are, and you don't have a desire to increase your income, to get more exposure to new people, to sign up, right? Then sure, lots of ways you can just keep in touch with who you've already got, maintain the business that you've got, but eventually, you know, because attrition is a fact, no matter how good the company is, Young Living has really great retention. Compared to other network marketing companies, it's still a fact of life. If you want to keep your check at least the same, you are eventually going to have to add some new business, right? And so if you want to add new business, if you want to find new people that you can share with on a consistent basis and you want leverage to do it, social media is, it's kind of a fact of life, right? But here's the thing, right? Young Living was started, and we should acknowledge this. Young Living was started long before these platforms were even imagined, right? This is a company that was built before social media. People built fortunes in this company before social media. So there are ways that have always worked that still work, right? But depending on where you are, who you are, the time that you have or are willing to invest in putting yourself in front of new people, I think at the end of the day, we're still going to have some kind of a presence on social media. And here's why. These platforms have changed our culture, right? So the world that Young Living was born in is not the world we live in today. And as brand partners of Young Living, we kind of got to know the world we live in today, right? Because we got to meet people who need Young Living today, right? These platforms have changed a lot about our culture across the world, how we identify ourselves, how we communicate with each other, and how we go about choosing to make purchases. These have all dramatically been shaped by these networks. In particular, this last piece, and this is the one that's most pertinent to you, how you buy things, how you make choices to make purchases have been forever changed because of social media networks. And so we have to keep that in mind. The reason why somebody's going to say yes to Young Living is a different reason than it was when Young Living was founded, right? So as a business owner, and this is going to be true whether you're a network marketer or you're a coach or you are a practitioner, if you're a business to customer model business, having some presence on social media is essential in this day and age. And the reason why is because it's literally where the people that you want to find you are spending all of their free time. And in this day and age, being top of mind, and this is where how we buy things, social media has changed this. Being top of mind as a brand is critical. And what's equally critical is having a place where you can syndicate your brand's message. So actually having a place where you can broadcast what you're about, where people can actually hear it, right? So people can find you. And you need to be found. If you want to find more customers, if you want to find enough new customers, especially if you're someone who would like to maybe find enough customers so that by law of numbers, at the very least, you've got some people who might be excited to grow the business with you. You got to find more new people, right? So in order to be found, we got to be heard. And in order to be heard, we got to go where there are people. And there is no more populous place you can go as a business to customer model business than social media, period, right? So let's just use an analogy here. You know, guys, I know I love those, right? So if you were a brick and mortar business back in the day, maybe back when Young Living first started, it was essential. Actually, we'll go a little further back than Young Living. So back in the day, you're a brick and mortar business. Maybe you're an attorney, maybe you're a baked goods shop or something like that, right? A restaurant. It was essential for you to be as centrally located as possible in town, right? If you're a brick and mortar business, so that when people were running their errands, they could stumble upon your business and learn more about you, right? If you were out in the boonies, nobody would know you were even there, right? We're thinking back like maybe before even the yellow pages, right? The only people that would know about you are the people who drove down that road. Well, if you're on a road where a lot of people don't drive, nobody's gonna see you, right? So today, whether we like it or not, the best central location for a network marketer to show up and get found is on social media platforms. That doesn't mean that you have to trade all of your time or your principles, your values to get it done, all right? The fact is that social media for a network marketer that has globally available products, it's a godsend. You could connect to as many people today as you want to or have time to in the world who could be a potential future customer for you. So if you're in the hustle mode of getting your business off the ground, there's not a better place for you to go. If you're looking for new connections, right? If you're looking to grow right now, find new customers right now, there's not a better place to find better odds because there are just so many people, right? So that can be the best thing in the world to jumpstart your business. I know this is true. I built my entire business in 2 companies solely through Facebook 10 years ago, right? It's doable and it can be pretty fun too, but it can also exhaust you, right? Like let's talk about the hustle here for a second, because I think we see a lot of people share their success stories with social media, but there is a culture when you grow on social that is hustle culture. And this is something that can get a little problematic, right? It can get a little exhausting. Does anybody ever, do you know what I'm talking about here? Have you ever been in like hustle mode and I'm, trying to reach out to people, find people, be heard, right? Or maybe you've witnessed it. You know what this looks like. You know the kind of stress that it can bring you, the exhaustion emotionally, mentally it can bring you, right? So look, social prospecting, posting stuff, getting in the DMs to find new customers, it can work. And it can be your absolutely free, cheap way to get your first customers that aren't just the people that you know and have introduced to this personally. But as a long-term strategy, it's not sustainable unless you have tens of thousands of followers and hire someone to manage your DMs. So if you're here today and you have tens of thousands of followers, you may be able to post something and have enough people take action on it, where just through the law of numbers that you get a result that you want, right? But you may have more than you can manage. And this happened to me. This is why I'm literally not on social media anymore. It got to the point where it was too much to manage. I understood this. Please understand me when I share this with you. This is something that can burn you out of the business. So now that we've talked about the things that don't really work here, let's talk about problems that we can solve with these platforms. The good news is that the solutions are in how we use them. This is stuff we actually have control over, okay? Now, the first problem, and the reason why I think a lot of us wind up eventually wanting to forego social media entirely, is because we treat it like an end-all solution for our business, right? It's where we show up. It's the only place people can find us, and we're there all the time. And we're in the DMs and we're ready for somebody when they show up in the DMs. We respond right away because, oh, I'm thirsty for new business, right? We treat it like an end all. And this is a huge problem. See, social media, we should look at it differently. Social media is like the town square, right? And the town square that's where you meet and you celebrate, things collectively, and you show the community that you're there. But you don't conduct your business on the town square. If you're a massage therapist, you don't bust out the table and do a massage like right there, downtown, right? You have a place of business, right? So if you have been in a position where you are, feeling so closely tied to social media, you run everything on social media, the first thing that we need to do is establish that we have our own place of business. Even if your place of business is virtual, it is a place of business and it needs to not be on your social media profiles. All right. So let's talk about the second problem here. The social media algorithms favor active participation. They want people there and scrolling all the time. And so they reward people who show up regularly and post regularly and engage regularly, because that's giving the algorithm something to put in front of the people so that they can keep the people scrolling, right? The algorithms want you to be there in person multiple times a day to be seen and make it work. This is an unfortunate truth and fact about this. There are services like Hootsuite and a couple of others that will push out your content for you if you want to pre-make it and post it. You could even do this in Canva. But if you ask the experts on social media, it actually kind of works against you to use those in some cases because the algorithm wants you to be there live, right? So in order to be seen, you do have to be present consistently. Now, before you roll your eyes and walk away from our presentation today, I promise you, I'm going to show you a way that you can do this that just takes you a couple minutes a day. Okay. Just a couple of minutes a day, and it can be easy and simple for you, but it is something that has to be done. And I'll show you as well how you might be able to hire somebody pretty cheaply to do this for you. All right. So look, this need to be there live is an unavoidable truth if you actually want to be using social to grow a following and get new leads for your business. But look, there's a better way to get this done than just, showing up and scrolling and thinking about what you need to post and then making a post, hoping it works, sticking around, hoping somebody comments on it, right? All right, so let's talk about solutions. like most paths to growth that we encounter in life and in business, the first step here is going to require an internal change. It's going to require some growth on our part, okay? So let's talk about how we solve the social problem so that this becomes a thing that works for our business, not a thing that swallows up all of our time, right? The first thing that we must do is see ourselves as professionals and start expecting others who interact with you to do the same. If you're here today, it's a really good chance that you might have started off with Young Living in a very casual way, right? How many of you do feel like that's true? Maybe you started off with Young Living, sharing Young Living as sort of like a, yeah, maybe I'll try this with, see if my mom wants to try it, see if my cousin wants to try it, maybe my neighbor. But, a lot of us wind up building full-blown accidental businesses, right? Well, we didn't necessarily learn to go about conducting ourselves in the same level of professional capacity that a realtor or a lawyer or a therapist or any number of different types of certified professionals might conduct themselves, right? Casual starts. Yes, most of us go casual with this to start. If you are interacting on social media and using social media just as everyone else who's just showing there to waste time uses it, it's no wonder you're frustrated with it, right? If we want to get results with this, and by the way, I'm not going to encourage you today to go and create a separate profile. You should not. I am also not going to encourage you today to go and create a page, like a professional brand business page. This is all stuff you can do with your profile as you have it today, okay? But here's what we need to do. We need to show up as a professional. Do you guys know who Eric Worre is? Who here's heard of Eric Worre? He's got fantastic content, and he started coming out with content, it was probably 10 years ago, talking about becoming a network marketing professional. Okay, so he's spoken at convention. There we go. I didn't realize that. So he talks about being a network marketing professional. The posture you need to adopt is that of, I don't know, the same one you would expect your doctor to have, your lawyer to have, your accountant to have. You don't, as a business, interact with people on some casual level, right? Yes, read his book, Go Pro. Thank you, Nozella. Yes, read the book, Go Pro. And that's going to make the case for this thing that I'm sharing with you right here. If you have not read Go Pro yet, it is a must read for someone who wants to build a serious business in this industry. All right. So the first things first, we need to, like, before we log into social media, not be, sister on the couch in pajamas. We need to be buttoned up. I'm professional. I am a wellness consultant. I am a brand partner for a $1 billion company. Your posture changes. You sit up straighter. You expect people to listen to you differently and for you to receive communications differently as well. All right, so make sure you do that. And then we want to start viewing social platforms for what they are and to work within that, right? If you need to hang a picture, you need a hammer. We don't need to have 27 conversations about the right hammer. We just need to get a nail into a wall. Social media is a hammer, you guys. Let's just let it be a tool in the box. And it doesn't really have to be anything other than that for you if you don't want it to be. Allow yourself to be released from the attachment to it being anything other than a hammer to put a nail in the wall for you to hang a picture, because that's all it really is. It's all it really has to be. And then finally, we need to follow systems around how we use social platforms. And then in our lives and how we conduct ourselves, we need to enforce real boundaries for ourselves and for others. Because again, because social media is fundamentally so casual, we can catch ourselves interacting in the way that we might have before we became a professional, right? So we do need to have systems in place. We're going to get into those in a minute. But what this all boils down to, you guys, is that using social media as a brand is the way to go. Not using social media as somebody that sometimes talks about oils, but understanding who your brand is and showing up as that brand. People begin to know you for what you're about. They begin to follow you because you're worth listening to, consistently sharing things that are interesting to them and helpful to them. And then, of course, those people become infinitely more ready to hear what you have to offer, show up to your classes, hop on calls with you, take your recommendations, and ultimately buy product from Young Living at your recommendation. So let's talk about what it means to identify yourself as a brand. We first need to ask ourselves what we want to be known as, right? What do we want to be known as the go-to for? What does your brand stand for? What are the values that you stand on? These are things you have in common with the people you want to attract. When people see you, your profile picture, it elicits an emotional response. That's what brands do. Who does your brand help? And how do you help that person? What do you help them to get or do or be or have? This is a thing that gets oiled, right? And look, and hey, here's the announcement I told you guys we'd make. The Brand My Business workshop is live today. And if you are a GetOiling member, you can log into your dashboard today and get access. You're going to see in your dashboard a link you can click, and it's going to take you to a brand new vault that has content in it. We're going to be doing live calls. And if you want to get into answering these questions, getting feedback on this, and then of course, understanding how to incorporate this into building a website that works, make sure you check that out. It's free if you are a GetOiling member. Just log in today and get access to it. All right. Excited about that. We'll talk about that more at the close of the call. All right. Here's the next thing we need to do. We need to establish our place of business. Remember, we need to make social not our end all. It's literally just a hammer in the toolbox, right? Even your toolbox isn't your whole business, right? It's your office. It's your, it's you. You've got tools. The tools aren't the end all. So what do? First thing we want to do is set up our GetOiling site to speak to the person that your brand serves. And then you want to offer a free thing to help them solve a problem in exchange for their contact information. Look, the purpose of social media, you guys, for a brand is building their list. Building a list of potential customers for any business, whether you're a restaurant, a law firm, a massage therapist, a network marketer. Social media is your greatest opportunity to build a list of potential buyers. All right. So offer a free thing to help them solve a problem in exchange for their contact information. This is, would be like a freebie that you give away in a funnel, right? If you don't have one yet, then you can go to getoiling.com/get-leads. It's a super quick course. You can learn how to make one. Or if you are doing the Brand My Business workshop, we do have a built-in funnel that's ready to go. All right. So next, we want to establish pathways to access our time, because what, again, we want to do is break free from just running our business on social media, right? So we want to have a place where people can go. That's your website. We want to have a way to capture their information. That's your funnel. And then we want to set up clear ways for people to access your time that is not the DMs. It's not the DMs. All right. So what this can be is as simple as your email address or the contact form on a GetOiling page. Using your GetOiling built-in theme, this is already done for you. Put your, do your My Story and photo, and then the pages that you would share with people as your website, that's going to have your story, your picture, and if they click get in touch or contact me, it's going to pop up a form. There you go. People can get in touch with you that way. Call funnels, which we've covered on some of our other trainings, are also great for this purpose. This is going to be especially valuable for you if you are leading a larger team and need to have more boundaries and barriers in place where people get access to your one-on-one time. Okay, don't want to get into the minutia of that today. It's certainly one for another call. All right, now finally, we want to start leading conversations as a brand with content. If the only place you're showing up online where people can hear you is social media, you aren't actually creating content that can work for you long-term. You will fundamentally be putting yourself into a hamster wheel situation where the only way you can get heard is to show up 2 times a day, every day, forever, to post something and hope that people will see it, right? We've got to start creating content off the platform. And this is going to serve you as well for those of you who really don't want to have anything to do with social media. You need to be creating content if you're not on social, especially because you need published things that people can find that show what you're talking about, right? So you get to know, become known rather, as the go-to that you are when you publish legacy content, right? Legacy content is simply blogging, YouTube videos, podcasts. It's literally the stuff that can be searched for and uncovered as content that can help people solve problems, recipes, articles, things like this, right? So content. So become known as that go-to that you are with this. And then when you're making content, so say you make a blog post, use social media to syndicate that content, right? That's sharing your content and to start conversations around it. And don't forget, when you're creating content on social, when you're posting on social, don't forget to encourage subliminally or directly people to interact with one another, because the engagement on your posts shouldn't just be fueled by you, right? You want to start conversations that people can participate at. You know, give somebody an either or. What do you think? Whole purpose of social is to get seen. So use strategies that get you seen, but that point to stuff that you own, that lives at your place of business. Does that make sense? Your place of business is your own website, right? It's where your content lives. All right, and then we want to use social media finally, most critically. Social media is a hammer to a nail in the wall, and the picture is I'm building a list of potential customers, right? We're building a list of subscribers. And the only way that we can build a list of subscribers that we own is to do that on our website. And that's why we have lead forms on pages and of course landing pages and GetOiling, so that you can do this, all right? So that you can communicate with who you want to on your terms about whatever you want to, which is really important because there's a lot of things you can't say on social these days, right? So all of this means making a shift from working in your business to working on your business. Working in your business means you're in constant reaction mode. Working on your business means you work by intentional design. Now, let's talk about the blueprint to running your social like the pros. Run your social like a brand. This is how you get to truly put the hammer back in the toolbox and let it be in the toolbox when you're not using it. Okay. So first we need to understand your business pipeline. This is not complicated. If you've never heard of a business pipeline, you don't know how this stuff works. It's really simple. Know where everything goes, right? Know where things lead. So where do you make money? You make money when somebody purchases Young Living product. So that means that we need to lead them to the point where they will purchase product, right? So is that on a one-on-one call with you, or less optimally, is it a page on your website, a funnel or a sales page, or even potentially, ideally, a page on Young Living that has, your sponsor and enroller ID included, right? Know where your pipeline leads. And the point of all of this, everything that we're doing, including building a list, is moving more people towards saying yes to Young Living, right? That's because that's where we make money. So we have to understand at what point do we control where they go from lead to customer. I believe that the best place to do this is on a one-on-one call, a one-on-one interaction. If you're more of a social selling type, you may disagree with me, but this is the most duplicable way to do this, and it is literally how this has been done since the beginning of Young Living. Is one-on-one interaction is what gets people in, right? So it's definitely what I recommend. All right, so then of course we want to know our tools. What tools do we have available to direct people toward that end of our pipeline where they can make a purchase? So it can be on calls or pages like I've just referenced, or I don't know, maybe you do live events, maybe in-person events. That's obviously a great place to have people experience product, you make intakes. Maybe you do courses and challenges where you give recommendations on using product in context with other activities, things like that. But understand how your business needs to work, right? If we can take a step out of it, so we're not working in it, and look at it so we can work on it, we can actually see where people become leads. This is where I have the conversation, where they become a customer. And then we can start to kind of take a further step into that and see how we can build tools to facilitate the process, all right? Here's another really, really important thing, and I think this is going to be maybe the most important thing that I share with you guys today. If you are wanting to grow on social, compose your content off the platform. When it's time for you to show up and engage on social media, do not open the app first. Follow this step, okay? First, you plan out your posts ahead of time. If you know you're going to post 2 times a day, then sit down and make a plan the week before for the 14 posts you're going to make in the upcoming week, right? Plan it out. What type of post is it? Is it for engagement? Is it a curiosity post? Is it this or that post? Like, what is it, right? What kind of post is it going to be? What is its purpose? Are we pointing to your content? Are we advertising an opportunity to get on a call with you and get a wellness consult or a Zyto scan or something like that, right? If you have a call to action, of course, you want to know what that is. You do not need to have a call to action in every social media post. Then, for all of these 14 things, make your pictures, make your videos, whatever it is that you're doing. It is easier and faster to do one kind of thing at a time in bulk than it is to switch context, right? To go from, let me think about what I'm going to write. Now, let me think about what it needs to look like. Now, let me think about what I need to say. And now I need to post it, right? No, what am I going to do? Figure it all out. What's it going to look like? Figure it all out. What's it going to say? Figure it all out. And you save that content to your device. This is going to save you so much time, right? And then schedule times that you're going to log in and post. And here's where this gets interesting. If you don't want to have anything to do with this, right? If you're at that place where you're like, I don't even want to have to deal with social media, cool. Do these things that I've told you up to this point, and then go over to fiverr.com, right? Find somebody who is a social media manager. There are people around the globe that do this. And if you have the content already made and you've got the schedule that you want to use, all you have to do is say, here's what I want done. Here's when I want it done. What will you charge me for it, right? And if it's worth it to you, do it and have this be a system that you are going to use on an ongoing basis. You can free yourself of having to even log on and deal with social if you're totally clear on what it is that you're going to be putting out there, right? Now let's talk about engagement. Obviously, this is a critical piece of social media. We got to do this on our own terms so it doesn't swallow our time and our energy, right? So we need to schedule specific and short time blocks for single activities. Again, keeping things one type of thing at a time, right? Just your copy, just your images, just your planning what the posts are, right? Schedule specific time for engagement on your own posts, because obviously after your posts are published, you want to be able to show up and like or comment when somebody interacts with them, right? And then of course you do want to make sure that you are doing the same on 3 to 4 posts by other folks in your space, like influencers or brands who you've researched. You can tell that they are speaking to your ideal people. You show up and you comment on 3 or 4 of their posts. And you do that. Just have that be a thing that you do and then be done with it. Give yourself 15 minutes and get it done, right? You could also do this in groups that are speaking to your audience as well. Groups are a great place to go, kind of allow yourself to become known as a go-to. So go in and, comment on 3 or 4 posts where you can be helpful, right? But schedule your time for these things separately. Don't try to do that when you're also logging in to make your posts, right? Remember that you can write your posts to encourage engagement among your audience. Don't make yourself be the one that has to do all of the heavy lifting on engagement. Encourage conversation and discussion amongst each other. And that is going to help you a great deal. And it also helps you a lot with the algorithm. You want to set boundaries in your DMs. What I love to do for this is to only check it at specific times of the week, right? Just roll through once a week, something like that. And be sure if you're going to be setting that kind of a boundary in your DMs that you notify your private clients, your team, that you're moving your core communications over to email or to your member area or that kind of thing, and make sure that they have info for that. You as a business are not beholden to communicating with people the way they demand of you. You as a business can say, this is what my business will be doing, and you can do it. And people can go along with it or not, right? But you get to have boundaries because you're a human. Even if you're a brand, you are a human. All right, so if we plan this out properly, the majority of this stuff that I've put here as well can also be outsourced if you want somebody else to do this for you. All right, so oil up, you guys. You can do this one step at a time. Really focus on working on your business, being intentional about using social. I would encourage you to consider even removing the app from your mobile devices, especially the messenger part of it, right? Remove that from your mobile devices and make this be a thing that you only do when you sit down at whatever your primary work device is, right? If it's a desktop or a laptop or a, you know, a whatever it is that you like to use, right? So that you can be really intentional about how you use this and you don't fall into the habits that got you to where you were exhausted with using social. All right. So let's get into some live help Q&A, and we do have those 2 website reviews as well. Thank you guys for sticking around. I know there's a lot of content. I'm excited to see what comes up here. So Allison, I'm not personally active on any social platform right now, but that is primarily because I don't have a brand partner business that I'm running like you are. I am very much behind the scenes, which I very much love at this stage of my life right now, working with Greg and Amanda and with private clients. So I, as a brand, am not putting myself out there for growth. If you are not looking for growth right now, then then you can skip social media for a while. But understand, if you're not pursuing growth in a network marketing business, you will eventually see the numbers fall. You do need to have ways to continually bring people in. All right, is it okay that technically your content doesn't have anything to do with Young Living? It's better, actually, on social media that your content is not Young Living explicitly, because if all you talk about on social media is Young Living, it's like the same as following the Young Living brand. They need to follow Allison because Allison's got a spin on life that they love and that inspires them and that they're interested in. Wellness, I would say, if wellness is your jam and you're I don't see how you can have a Young Living brand partner business and not have wellness be like some part of who you are, right? But there's, you don't have to have explicitly just like wellness focused content. I know actually there's a good number of folks who love, sharing and living and have social presences and even big teams. And their focus is more on things like time management and daily routines and stress management and things like this that aren't necessarily explicitly wellness. I did mention, Rebecca, I don't recommend for a Young Living brand partner to have a business page. I don't. If you have another type of business where you have a service-based business, maybe you're a coach, a consultant, you own a firm, you are a practitioner, there's an argument to be made for that kind of thing. But a network marketer is someone who it's fundamentally social. You are a professional as a networker, but it's fundamentally a social thing. So you're not really going to see a lot of results from a business page as a brand partner, just as a rule. It's just how the social media platforms work. All right, so I don't want to leave you guys waiting anymore because we do have, let me see, Linda and Angie here. So Linda, will you raise your hand for me so I can see you? And let's talk about, let's talk about your website. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, all right. So what are we looking at today? Are we reviewing a website or do you have other kinds of questions?
Well, I think I sent it to Colin. I sent an email or a page. I don't know, it was a questionnaire. You asked me what were you looking for. I forgot to either screenshot that. So
okay, I'm going to find it real quick here. Here we go. All right. So
I'm not techie. I had a friend that is a little techie help me get to the point that I'm at.
Okay, great. You mentioned
right
tweaking the look of it, branding,
yes,
colors, buttons.
Colin gave me some good feedback on it's not cohesive or whatever. It's not.
Got you. Okay, let's look. Okay.
Okay, I can't get that Life Spark. I don't know what happened, but I can't get the Life Spark logo to be small and just go up into the corner.
Okay, so it does when you scroll, but if you'd like it to be even smaller than this, what you're going to want to, what?
Up there above the salad, or just somewhere, maybe below the shoe. I don't know, but it wasn't supposed to be that big and I can't figure out how to get that smaller.
I see. Okay, hold on just a second. Let's go. What is the name?
Unless you like it like that. If you think it's fine like that.
I wasn't sure what you, hold on. I thought that that was actually embedded in the image. So I'm logging into your account on another browser here so we can
Yeah, I don't know what I
go
did.
take a
I
look at this.
cannot figure out anything on how that got put on top of the shoe. So,
Okay. So, oops, pages is what I want to go to. What is this called? Is this the LifeSpark page?
Yeah.
This one?
I
Okay.
did that instead of, I guess I couldn't figure out how to do a web page. So I just did I just did a page as my thing.
Okay. Well, so here's the thing, right? You've already got LifeSpark up here. You don't really need it right here. It's not necessary to repeat it.
Something happened in the last time I talked to you, or somebody gave me feedback. I don't remember. Nobody needs to make wellness complicated, and then most people have given up should be the main focus of my page, not the picture.
Okay. So the odd thing that I'm encountering here is that it looks like this LifeSpark image is a transparent one that's somehow over top of this other image, or is that? I don't understand how.
I have no idea.
All right. Do you want this this image with the shoes to be sort of the background of that section?
I thought it was nice, but it doesn't have to be there at all.
Okay. Okay, cool. So what we'll do
I didn't know if I
is
needed a focal point, a picture, a background, a texture, something just for people to listen and go, oh, that looks nice.
here we go. So let's make that photo the background image.
The other thing is, see how many pictures you have to scroll through. I thought at one point there used to be just in GetOiling the pictures that I had. Now
So
it's everything from Canva.
Well, so no, this is everything from Canva that you've added to your GetOiling site over time. So there's a lot of stuff in here. So this all would have been added over time.
That's on Canva.
Let's see. Okay. No, it's not. I think we're getting close to it though.
Eventually, it's in there somewhere.
All right. You know what we'll do, I'm gonna add one for you from Canva for now. I'm gonna make this, I like a blog banner or LinkedIn banner as a preset size for this purpose. And
put anything in there, put apples in there. I don't care.
All right, perfect.
We can choose. That's neither here nor there. But
exactly.
Even do I need one there? When you look at my website, do I need something there?
An image, yes, would look really good here. So what if we
wellness,
did
there you
like
go. Just the wellness with the little tag? Yeah, whatever. That's fine.
This work? This okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Or,
anything work. That right there with the shells or something. The tag.
Well, we don't want to have words on it though.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, then use the one you have.
Okay, so you could always go back and change this. Just follow the same steps.
That's fine.
All right.
Looks great.
So we're going to send that in, and
it's not my color scheme, but it looks great.
That's okay. It's easy to change.
And I think in that response I gave back, I did try to pick colors, but I'm not sure that I'm using the right colors. I mean, I love blue. I want colors that are going to be
let's see. This section. Okay, move this guy. I want to, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna create a new section for you, Linda. For this top part of your page. I'm just gonna start from scratch here. I'm gonna put that new background image in. And then for this text box, this is gonna have the same stuff that you have here. Okay, we're gonna paste this in here and make that centered. We'll make it a heading font, which is going to be under, what is that? I've got this so small I can't see anything. Hang on. Okay, there we go. All right, we're going to take that to heading 1. And then we're going to make this one heading 3. Maybe. Oh, nope, no, we're not. We're going to make that normal and we're just going to increase the size. Okay, perfect. Okay,
My demographic is 40 and over women.
Okay,
aging.
Great.
So I am like, you can redefine what people say you should act your age.
All right, so background opacity, I'm gonna make it to where it's kind of floating on top of this. And then we're gonna pad the top, oops, edit the section. All right, there we go. We're gonna pad the section so that it actually kind of floats over. Okay. About the same on all parts. Okay, so this is along the lines of what you're going to want to do, right? So what you do want to make sure that you have here, and I don't know if you have one yet, but eventually, ideally, you need to put a button here, make an offer here for some kind of free thing, right? So here's get my free thing. You're going to want to put that here. But let's also just
I do believe I have, okay. I mean, throw a button there if you want to, and I can put the link in later.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let me pad this in.
It's the technical part that I have the trouble with, like, how do I add the button? How do I not have these spaces?
Yeah, so we're just gonna hit enter twice, and then we're gonna go, let me close this guy out here. We're gonna add this, click this, insert button, and then I'll use this one. Oop, that's not where we want it. Command Z or Control Z is your friend. Let's try this one more time. Button, there it goes. Okay. And so this is where you put your button. And if you want to add more space, that's where you use padding. So this is how you edit the element. And so if we highlight this, this is where we can say padding. That's how much space it has. Maybe I want to have a little less padding on the bottom. I can shrink that, right?
Okay, thank you.
So we've got our top section worked out here. So if we save this and go look, now it's a lot easier to see and read and make clear, right?
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. No, we're absolutely getting there. What I would encourage you to continue doing is just kind of play around with images, with color, and continue, seeking feedback, especially if you have peers that you feel are really aligned with where you're headed and what you really want to be sharing, who you want to be attracting. Get feedback from a trusted person on sort of how things look and flow visually, because you do want to make sure that you're also being mindful of that person. But this is what I recommend just for having a good clean section at the top, is to have an image in the background that's good size, good resolution size, like pretty large, so that it's clear when it's stretched out on all devices. And then you just kind of have this floating box here. And again, if we wanted to, let's just say, for instance, we wanted this to be a different color. We could actually click here and make the background color, this color that we should definitely not have.
No.
Right, but I use white's usually what I recommend. And then of course you can make it as totally opaque or slightly opaque as you want to. You can even blur the background around it as well.
Okay, so that's that's what I need to. Now, the other thing is up there on the top, I had asked the question, there's blog and blog arc. See this header is in white, but if you go to any other pages, it's in black. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, so that's in your page settings. So let's go look. Do you know the name of that page? Is that your blog? Here we go, LifeSpark blog. So this is going to show up in page settings.
I think I removed the one that said LifeSpark.
So you're showing your header as dark. And so we can change the default header and even the footer. I don't know what your footer is, so I'll leave it at dark. We'll change the default header there. And if we go over here and refresh, there you go.
Okay, thank you. So now the blog and the blog arc, this is the one. I don't like this. I don't know how that gets there. If you click on blog archive, it brings up a different,
Yeah, this
it brings
is
that one up.
yeah, so I recommend that you use this. This is actually
That's
your
the one I want to
website.com.
use. I don't
Perfect.
know
Yeah.
how to change it.
Yeah, so I mean, you don't need this page at all. From what I can tell, obviously you may have a different strategy that I'm not familiar with. But in your menu, which is going to be right here, you just have to see this is linking to a URL, and that's going to that blog page that you made. So let's make this go to
The
blog archive
Yes.
and call it blog. And when we save that, then it's actually going to go to the correct place on your website.
So I don't need blog archive. At the
Wait,
top, this is blog, contact me, opportunity, and blog archive. I don't need both.
Right. Weird. Okay, yeah. So how about let's delete this guy because he's doing something strange. And then we're going to just call this blog and move that up here to where the other one was and save that one. And now we should be good. There we go.
Yeah,
so we
because I
click
like the blog
here.
categories.
Yeah, there you go. It's a cleaner layout. Just make sure when you're making your blog posts that you do what you did on these other ones where you have an excerpt, and that way it's a shorter view of what's in there, and as opposed to the entirety of the blog post like we have in this particular one.
Yeah, I didn't know how to do that. I guess I forgot because it's been a while since I've been trying to get this all set up.
Yeah, well, it looks like you did it most recently, but just to show you real quick, it's real simple. This is the one that doesn't have the archive enabled. If we go down here to advanced options, you can say show excerpt. So if you click that, and then we go and say, maybe just copy these, and then we'll take that. And save it. And then on your blog archive there on that third post, you'll just see this little bit there.
Thank you. Okay. So
yeah,
I didn't
absolutely.
And I had one, what was my other question? I have a list, GetOiling questions. Here we go. Oh, I do. If I do come up with brand colors, how do I choose those colors for the like in Canva, it gives you a color that you're using.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you go to your web page, or when I go to my page, you know, where we just did the picture and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I like those breaks? Like where it says nobody needs to make wellness complicated and it's purple. How do I change it back over to that pretty blue that I picked?
So, I mean, the easiest way that I recommend is to actually have your brand palette handy from Canva. Like, so maybe have have two windows open on your device, and then that way you could just use the color picker. Right? Are you using a desktop device or like a laptop?
Yeah,
or something?
I have a Mac.
Okay, perfect. So when you're going into your page, let me go back to your pages here. All right, so if we go to this LifeSpark page, and then I'm going to go ahead and open. Do you have your custom colors set up inside of GetOiling as well?
I sent them in that little thing to Colin, and I forgot to.
All right. I'm gonna show you exactly where you can find short videos on how to get this done today. Where the colors are concerned, but you know what you want to do is just have somewhere on your site, or somewhere on your screen rather, the colors that you want to be using, because that way you can click this guy, it'll say show colors, and then you use this little wheel that pops up and you go and you grab this. And of course we don't, if you don't want a gradient, then remove the gradient, and you don't have to have
I think the gradient's pretty, but
yeah. So, well, I mean, you mentioned you wanted it blue. So, so anyway, I'm not going to save that change.
Okay.
Let me show you real quick where the colors and fonts are concerned, and moving stuff from Canva over to GetOiling and all of that. If you go to your dashboard today, I'm going to go ahead and click this for you. Start now. The Brand My Business workshop. All you got to do is click, and you've been added, right? So now you just need to go to the GetOiling member area. And that's getoiling.com/members. You're either going to create a login or you already have one if you already have some of our stuff. And it's the Brand My Business workshop right here. Now, right now, the workshop curriculum is open, and part of the pre-work includes this creative setup. And so this is where we actually go into creating the brand guideline in Canva. So that's where you get your colors and everything. And then we have a video specifically in here with instructions on setting up your colors inside of your system. So we actually walk through all of that in there. And the cool thing is in this course, you're also getting a lot of those questions answered that I brought up earlier today. So understanding who you are as a brand and developing what that looks like for you. We've got, workshops and all this, worksheets rather, and you can go through the workshop live. We are going to be having two live calls for this starting next Thursday. So,
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
I think
Angie.
it's starting to come together.
Oh,
When
good.
you look at it all together. When you look at my page, if you look at it and I'm hoping it's looking professional.
It is coming together, and you should be proud of the work that you're doing, Linda. We're certainly proud of you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, Angie, thank you for your patience. We bring you out to chat. Hi. How's it going?
Good, thank you.
Good. All right, let's talk. What are you looking for help with?
I'm actually in the process of tweaking my brand, so my front page and all that needs to be redone. But today I want to talk about vaults.
Okay.
So I am taking or doing the class, moving your Facebook groups off Facebook or whatever. But I do have 2 vaults set up. But the main one I want to complete is for my Young Living education.
Mhm.
So about a year or so ago, I did purchase a pre-made vault from Grace Collaborative. Perfect. But now I've never released it. Like, I've been scared to click the trigger and just send it out. So better done than perfect. So a year later, this August, I got back in. I've been tweaking it and changing things. So I just needed some hindsight to be sure I'm going in the right direction, because it's almost
Okay.
done. I have sent out to a few of my members that's been with me from the beginning, and then also a brand new customer to get their opinions, and they love it. So I just have to get it finished, get it ready to send out. So I have some questions written down. So the first thing, okay, so where it has like the member resources, well, let me look at my questions here. Okay, so my Young Living vault, the education vault, will be private, right, for my education team, for customers and for brand partners. But when people eventually go into my website, maybe through a blog or whatever, will they see that vault, hey, it's available if you are a member? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so it depends on how you have it set up. So we can go look at that real quick. You can so that's the setting right here. Let others in the member area see and join this vault. If this is a private vault for your Young Living customers, then you don't want this to be a thing.
So don't check that. Okay, perfect. See, Young Living education. I'm reading over my notes here. So I can have my brand partner information in that same vault. Is that correct? Like with my education. So I just have it all together, but maybe in a separate category.
Wait, I'm sorry. Could you? What was the first part
so
of
like like this Wellness Made Simple education group.
Yeah.
So would you also maybe have a content tab for brand partners? To be honest, I'm not real concerned about that right now. I have a ton of brand partners, but no one doing the business. So right now I just need to get the education out there. But as I do need to put brand partner information, should I have it in this setting also where maybe customers can see it and think, well, what's this all about? Would you put that in the same thing?
Yeah. So the answer is yes, but right. So it is a matter of personal preference. I know a lot of leaders would prefer to keep the customer lane customer, and really kind of have a brand partner be something that comes up as a result of conversations. I don't personally think that there's anything wrong at all with having the initial, what if you got your product paid for? Inside of a group like this. I wouldn't go too crazy. Like if you're someone who's got a lot of resources, I would definitely consider making a separate vault for that purpose. But if it's just kind of the simple, help one kind of thing, or help, Grow Workspace has a couple of these. Basically, if it's any of the things that Grow Workspace made, go ahead and put it in here.
Okay, perfect. The vault content. So how many, like I have 3 content tabs. How many can I have? Is there a limit on that, on the content tabs?
It depends on your plan level. And by the content tabs, I guess, so the contents here, you've got a class, you've got a discussion room, and you've got a page. The volume of your classes and your pages are going to correspond to the volume allotted in your GetOiling account. So if you are at premium, for instance, I think you're unlimited on pages and like 5 classes. So, but or unless you get the unlimited vaults and classes, in which case this is truly unlimited. So if you're at premium plus unlimited vaults or unlimited vaults and classes, then you can, like, the sky's the limit. Stuff.
Let's see. So as far as, like, I do have GetOiling, or I have Grow Workspace, and then I, have some videos that I need to upload off Facebook. Would you put that under where? The member resources, or would you create another content page or something and have that actually be where all the team education goes, like, for thieves or for immune support, or would you maybe have a separate place for that?
Yeah, so the way that I usually set these up is that we have the basics of, I have a Young Living account. Here are the things I need to know. And so so basically segregating the functions of being an account holder with the from the education of the products themselves. I usually keep product education in one lane, and here's how you log in. Here's how you place an order. Here's what subscribe to save is. Here's what loyalty rewards are, right? This is, here is Young Living support phone number. Here's the out of stock report. All of that, I think, needs to live somewhere separate from the product education, because the depth of product education that you can really explore and continue adding to is far greater than just the basics of, I'm having trouble operating my account. What do I do? And you can just have that all in one place. So I say have one online class for that, and then the rest for education.
Because I know, like, in member resources right now, Grace Collaborative have most of those basics, but I would like to have a separate content page for the education. So would you just call that product education?
What I would do is I would make a copy of this class. I would make a copy of this entire class, and in the copied version, call it product education, delete these top parts, and then just keep adding to it with the Grow Workspace stuff.
Okay, perfect. So, and take that and move it to another tab on its own, like under the content.
Exactly. So you would have member resource, or you would have member resources, and then you would have one that you would call product education.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I think that's all the questions I had today.
Awesome. Well, great work, Angie. You should be proud of your work. It looks really good.
Well,
and I'm excited for you.
Excited to get it out there. So one more thing. So before I send this to everyone on my team, because I do have many that I don't know, I think that Greg or someone had suggested that I do send out an email to everyone on my team, maybe introducing myself. Before I send that out, is there a certain way, or just keep it short and sweet? This is who I am. Would you say, how would I introduce this vault? Like, what would I call it? Like,
yes, let me find, actually, I'm going to put this in the chat if I can find this real quick. Yes, so there's a training that I did
Okay.
recently. Well, not, it's been a little bit since I did it. Let me see if I can open that up and bring it over to this. Pause it real quick. All right, hey, it's me and Julie.
Let's stay in touch.
All right, so this is how to stay in touch with members, but I also
Okay.
have in here, there's a resource bundle. And in this resource bundle, I actually have a permission marketing system already pre-made for you. And in that video, I go through how to do it.
Okay.
And so I'm going to pop this into our chat here real quick, and I'll try to make sure and put that into the description video. Oh, that's not it either. I'm copying her stuff that I just put on. It just took my weird. Sorry about that, you guys. Copy. Let's try this again. Paste. Now it took. There we go. Sorry about that. We've got website copy in our chat now. Anyway, follow what's in this because this is going to show you exactly what to do. Because what I'm talking about there.
Okay.
Yes. And what I'm doing there is I'm taking the entire VO file and then sending out a campaign. And the campaign is just one email that's, hey, this is who I am. By the way, I have some resources. If you'd like them, click here. If you don't, you can ignore this. I'm not going to bug you. And then there's like maybe one more a couple days later if they didn't opt in. And then, and then you don't have to worry about it again. So you're only sending that to people who want it.
Okay. Sounds great. I'm excited.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I really appreciate it. All right. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you. Take care, Angie. All right, couple of quick questions here. Thank you guys for sticking around. I knew this was probably going to go long because it's such a huge topic to get into. But thank you for both of you, Linda and Angie, for putting yourselves out there here today and sharing your work. We're inspired by you. Carol says, what do you recommend for someone who is not tech savvy? I'm watching you do all kinds of things to help a woman, but I have no idea how to do any of what you're talking about. Carol, what I would recommend that you start with is, I want to say was it last week? It was last week's training on our YouTube channel. Let me go and show you. And this is, it's called Her Stress-Free Path to Silver with GetOiling. I want you to watch that. I'm going to put that link over here into the chat as well. That is an interview that we did with Janelle Bass, who got started with us at Senior Star. Is definitely not somebody who sees herself as like super duper techie. And she has been with us and grown to silver. And her approach to using us is really simple and straightforward. She calls it a salad bar approach. I think it's brilliant. You basically just start with what you need. Just get what you want right now. Just because everything is out there, could you make a page? Sure. Do you need to? No, not necessarily, and not right away. So I would just encourage you to just start with one thing. And the best place to start in our system is with your contact manager, things like saved replies, things that are going to behave more like email, which is really native and familiar to you compared to designing web pages. And then just build your confidence with using the system for the things that your business needs right now as you start to get those ideas and grow into these new paths. If you know what you want, you could always also reach out to us, and that's getoiling.com/custom site or getoiling.com/VA. And you can actually see about us helping you to get that done. If you want to completely skip the learn how to do it part, you can. Absolutely. And we have courses on this as well, like the Brand My Business Workshop. All right. How is a new workshop different from the Icon Workshop? Great question, Allison. This is a really great follow-up to the Icon Intensive that you just did, because what we're doing is we are very specifically taking your brand and the plans for your brand and putting them into your website so that you've got a fully functioning website that works for you. It's got literal templates, 6 of them actually in total, to build a complete website custom on your GetOiling site. And again, it's all pre-built stuff. The funnel is already made. And all you have to do is, once you've decided your brand colors and logos and everything, you can come in and we show you exactly how to plug it all in. You get feedback, you get support. And it's a good thing to do if you just did become an icon, for sure. It is, Rebecca, this is going to be open in perpetuity, but we won't have the live calls ongoing. So we will have live calls next week, which is the 11th of August and on the 1st of September. But because this is open to all GetOiling members, if you want support with the contents of this course moving forward, even if you're not able to make those live dedicated calls, which is, this, again, 11th and the 1st, then you are always able to use the website review feature like Linda and Angie did today, and we can go over your work here on a call. So if you needed to maybe focus on it later, you certainly could. All right, does it tell you in there what you should complete before the first class in the new workshop? Yes, actually. The only things that you can access in there as of the time that we are filming this is the pre-work modules and the creative piece. So we're not getting straight into building the pages right away. That's something that's going to be coming in coming weeks. So yeah, there's pre-work there. And like I said, if you are someone who has just gone through Become an Icon personal branding intensive, this is going to be a great thing to follow up with. If you're someone who is just kind of getting started with, or maybe you've tried your hand at building some pages on your site, but you'd like to kind of bring everything together cohesively, this will also be great for you as well. It is 100% free. It's not going anywhere. Make sure you put it down to get into it, and certainly take advantage of the live version if you're able to. Okay, Carol, I've actually put in the chat the YouTube links, and I will be sending out a replay to you today as well, and that'll have these links that I've mentioned here as well. But I'll just show you real quick on YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/GetOiling, the video you're looking for is called Her Stress-Free Path to Silver with GetOiling. And I think that would bring a great deal of inspiration to you. And this behind the scenes as well, this wild brand partner business strategy right here. This is our call with Mercedes Talmadge that was very popular. She's not very techy. She doesn't even have a custom homepage with us. She goes through some really brilliant ways that she uses us simply as well. So thank you guys for all of your time here today and your awesome participation. I am so thrilled to see what you do with what you've learned here today. Remember, social media can be a tool in the toolbox that you can put away when you want it to. You can make it work the way you want it to. You can use it for what you want to use it for and set it down. Walk away empowered today, oil up, and start making plans for how you want to intentionally operate your business. And we look forward to seeing you next week and on a future call. Take care, everybody.